Yeah, so this is why so many people have been living deeper life. And thankfully, Pastor Kumuyi addressed the issue accurately today, and I was so happy. We had this program, Global Marriage Program or conference that started on Thursday, and today was the wrap up. And we had, oh my God, a lot of topics. A lot of topics were addressed, interesting ones. And we talked about marriage. It was for singles, it was married people, divorced people, people who are struggling to get married, looking for who to marry, and they've not found anybody. Everyone was invited. It was for families to be, reunited, for those who have broken up and have gone their separate ways. So today was the finale of the whole program. And it was hot. I see a lot of bloggers carrying different things, and they're saying, oh, marriage committee has been abolished. They said, oh, now courtship has been abolished. GS has changed this or that. If you were in the program today at the Sunday service, you know that none of that happened. Of course, these are what they put because they want you to watch their videos, and they're cutting the messages wherever they want to cut it, not allowing you to hear the beginning and not allowing you to hear the end, and you hear it in middle and you're like, yes, deeper life is changing. This is what is happening. That's what is happening. Don't carry the news. Go and listen to the message. But I'm going to give you a snippet of what happened, okay? So it was a question and answer time before the message, and there were questions that were asked. One of the ones that was touching, and I think we have a part of that video on our YouTube channel. It's about a sister who is married, rightly so, and she was asking why the church does not allow young ladies before they get married to visit brothers. So in Deeper Life, we have the marriage committee. Some people call it the MC. So I'm going to explain what the marriage committee is. The marriage committee is just like a committee that was set up by the church to help young people in their marriage matters. So just to help them to prepare, help them, ask them questions to make sure that the brother and the sisters are actually born again, and that they have prayed, and that they have done all the checks, medical checks, and that financially they are ready to get married, and lots of things. They ask you questions. I went through the marriage committee in the Bible Church. I live in Canada, yes, but at the time, me and my husband were living in Europe, and we went through the marriage committee. I will share my story with you as we go on in this conversation today. I think my kids are back. I'm in my daughter's room, but right now, just listen to me. Okay, hear me out. So, the marriage committee is there to just help. They are set as just guides, because the GS, the national pastor, if you live in a country, cannot handle every marriage matters. The state pastor cannot handle every marriage matter. So they set up this committee just to help the people, right? Just to help you answer your questions, just to help you with things that the pastor would have been able to do. You know how in the Bible, Moses was sitting down and he was judging the children of Israel, or let's say he was handling all the matters of the children of Israel, and God had to, by the help of God, Jethro came in and advised Moses and told Moses that you cannot just be doing all this thing all alone. Get leaders who can judge the people, who can listen to the matters of the people, who can help you. Because if you sit down alone, you get weighed down by listening to everybody in the crowd, all the people that came out of Israel, all their problems, their family problems, their financial problems, their, physical problems, all their matters. If only you sit down to judge them, to listen to them, you will get weighed out. So those elders were there to help. So let's just assume, or let's consider that the marriage committee is like those helpers that help the pastors in the church. But there are lots of things that we're hearing from the marriage committee and what's going on in different states. So we all have different experiences of the marriage committee. My experience might be a very good one, and that person will come with another experience. And I'm this kind of person that does not believe that I should throw out another person's story because that's their experience. That's what happened to them. They're just sharing what they went through with the marriage committee. And I'm not here to bash the marriage committee as a whole. But remember that marriage committee is individuals, they're people, right? Some of them maybe have children, maybe some of them have young children, some of them have only boys, they don't have girls. Some of them have only girls, they don't have boys. Some of them have boys and girls. Different things, okay? And these individuals are prone to failure. I tell people that human beings are just human beings. They are not perfect. They are not perfect. And anything can happen. When you listen to someone's story, listen to it. And wherever you can give an advice, give an advice. Don't say, oh, because I have a good experience with the marriage committee, then your story is not real. Or because I had a bad experience with the marriage committee, then someone who is saying that they had a good experience with the marriage committee, their story is not real. Don't generalize or don't put everything in a box. Just take every individual story as it comes. And that's why I like what the GS is doing right now. I like how the GS is handling and talking to the marriage committee. Okay, right now that he's still alive with the church, I'm happy that he's addressing some of these issues. So this sister, she was asking a question about the marriage committee, and she was saying that those lots of sisters have gotten into marriage without really knowing the brothers that they got married to. Okay, I'm just going to paraphrase, I'm going to summarize what her question was. And then she was asking that many people in the church are going through untold pain. They're going through problems in their homes because they didn't do the preliminary things. They did not have the opportunity to go and visit the brother in his house and know what kind of family is this brother coming from. What kind of house is he living in? How is the house designed? Like a woman just get married, she did not, you know how women are. We like to decorate the house a certain way. We have expectations. We come from different backgrounds. Some people come from very wealthy homes. Some people come from moderately comfortable homes. Some people come from, homes where they are struggling, very humble backgrounds, and brothers alike. And I agree with what that sister was asking because I've had a lot of stories of young men who will come to the marriage committee, will come to their pastor and say that they want to marry a certain person. And then they'll ask them questions like, oh, do you have a job? Is everything good? Do you have this? Do you have that? And they'll say, yes, yes, yes. Do you have money in the bank? Yes, yes, yes. Can you take care of another person? Yes, yes, yes. They just want to get married. Okay? And we trust. We believe them. They trust them. The church trusts them. And in places, in churches where they did not do, I will say they did not do their due diligence. They did not check out correctly. You find out that that brother, I had a very bad story of a brother who rented or who borrowed an apartment, right? So when the marriage committee came to visit, he said this was his house. And to start with, that brother is not supposed to be called a brother because that's lying. You cannot build your foundation, the foundation of your marriage, on lies. So he told a lie to the church, told a lie to his pastor, told a lie to the marriage committee, told a lie to everybody, and told a lie to the person he was getting married to. It's all lies. And he rented or borrowed the key of his friend and showed the marriage committee as though that was his own house. After marriage, he brought this girl, this lady, this sister to that house. They stayed for a while and then he said, oh no, we have to move because my friend is coming back. He just let us stay here for a while until we have to move. And he took her to a very bad place, a place that was not conducive at all. Anybody that knows me, they know that you all know that I am an advocate of a woman to have her own thing doing, have something to do. So that if there is a rainy day, if there is, surprises in the future, you will not be caught unawares because you have a job, you have savings, you have your own stuff. And so if you need to step up to make yourself comfortable, you will be able to step up without feeling stuck or trapped. Okay, let's go back to the story of the sister. So she said that Lots of sisters, they get married and it's after the marriage that they go home just to realize that some of the things that the brother told them is not exactly so. Or the brother omitted some things, did not talk about some things deliberately so, just because he doesn't want her to know, or just because he felt that if she knows, maybe even if they'll still get married, maybe the marriage will not happen now, it's going to be delayed. That is lack of honesty. That's not being forthcoming. I'll advise every brother, and that's what I tell everyone that asks for my opinion about these issues. If you're a brother and you want to get married to someone, just be plain. Just be plain. If that sister loves you and you are plain with her and she's ready to cooperate with you, she will let her decide if she wants to go into that marriage with you the way you are. Come as you are. You don't have to fake anything. You don't have to say you have something that you don't have. You don't have to try to be what you are not. Because at the end of the day, my friend, the truth will come out. And when the truth comes out, the lady will hate you for it. The lady will be upset. She will lose trust. One thing about trust is that trust is so fragile. And once it's broken, it takes a long time to regain trust. Don't start your marriage with mistrust. Just come the way you are. Tell the person, this is what I am. This is where I work. And that's part of the Bible. The Bible said, when God brought Eve to Adam, Adam was naked. And they were not ashamed. They were both naked and they were not ashamed. When you say naked, naked means different things. Naked means nothing covering, like nothing. You're not hiding anything. You're just yourself. You don't have anything that is under wrap that if she discovers, you're going to be disappointed, you're going to be embarrassed. You will find it difficult to explain. Why do you have to live your life like that? I believe in simplicity. I believe in living my life the way it is. And that's why when I was courting my husband, there was nothing I hid from him. From health challenges to finances to education to like my past, my childhood. I told him everything. What am I hiding? Eventually, these things comes out in bits. Whatever you're hiding today will come out tomorrow. And then that's where trust issues will come in. Your credibility will be on, I don't know how to say it. I'm looking for the term. Will be on test. They will test your credibility and you might not pass the credibility because you were not forthcoming. You were not sincere. So this sister, she asked that question. And she said that the pastor, the GS, should please intervene and discuss this issue. Talk to the marriage committee, find a way forward because lots of people in their marriages are regretting. Lots of sisters, brothers in their marriages are feeling like they are trapped. They can't go out because the church and the Bible, let's even say the Bible because the church is Bible church. We're going by the Bible. The Bible says that God hates divorce and that at the beginning it was not so. It was one man, one woman, and till death do you part. That's what the Bible says. So when you get married, you can't jump out of it. My husband usually say that marriage has an entry, but there is no exit. Death is the only exit after marriage. Of course, that is not in cases of violence. For violence, we encourage the church. I mean, I know lots of Christians encourage separation. Okay, don't stay there and lose your life in the process of I want to stay married and the church does not encourage divorce and God said he hates divorce. Yeah, they're not saying you should divorce. They're saying you should stay apart for a while until the issue is resolved. Okay, so an exemption to the case of staying in that marriage is in cases of violence. Your life is in danger. You need to find a solution. You need to get out of there so that you can save your life. Very important. Very important. I emphasize on that over and over again. Okay? Well, so the pastor responded and pastor said that he understood the predicament of sisters. He understood that lots of sisters don't know where the husband to be lives, does not know anything about the family of the husband to be. He does not, she, sisters, do not know the family background. They don't know where they are taking them to. They've never been to the community where the man lives. They cannot tell if the man is, a sincere guy or not. Because, when you go to a community and you talk around, you start hearing things. People will tell you things about this person that has been their neighbor for a while. And that sisters should not jump in blind. But the GS said it clearly that you are children of God. You will not just go to the house of the man and sleep over. You will not just go to the house of the man and commit sin. You will not just go to the house of the man alone at 12 midnight because the GS said we're allowed to go and visit the brother. That's not what he said. He said you're allowed to go with a fellow sister, a friend, someone that you trust, another woman like yourself, and go to the man's house. Examine, go and see for yourself. Go and get to know about this man, this guy, this brother that you're intending to get married to. Go and discover some things that needs to be discovered. I know a sister that once told me that the mistake she made was that before she got married, she just trusted everything that the brother told her. She did not even try to go to the brother's house. She did not send anybody to the brother's house. She just took every word of his as true. And that's what it's supposed to be as Christians. Your yea should be your yea and your nay should be your nay. But because of the society in which we live nowadays, brothers and sisters alike, people are not sincere. People are telling lies. I know lots of brothers who are saying that that it's difficult to find a good wife nowadays because especially those brothers that have made it, that have some money in the bank, that have very good jobs, that have some properties, that are wealthy in quote and still unmarried. Those, premium bachelors. They are finding it difficult to get married because they believe that ladies are now getting married because of what they have. Ladies are now looking at their money. They're not marrying the brother. They're not marrying for love. They're marrying because of money. So those brothers are delaying their marriage because they're trying to find a sister who does not know that they have anything. They're trying to find a sister who is not marrying them because of their money. Okay, that's because it's not only brothers that are being castigated. There are also unsincere sisters. There are also sisters that don't say the truth. There are also sisters that are not forthcoming, that are not faithful in what they say. So this is me saying it's not a particular gender, so that you not say, oh, why is it only brothers? No, it's not only brothers. Brothers and sisters alike. But in this instance, it is the sister that is asking the question, and many times the sister is the one that is leaving her own house, her own flat, her own family to come to this man's family, home, house to live with him. Rebecca left Laban, her father's house, her brother Laban and her father's house, and came to get married to Isaac. But don't forget that Isaac was the son of Abraham and he was wealthy, very wealthy. So when Rebecca was coming, she saw all the things that the servant of Abraham brought, all the cattle, all the gifts, all the gold, all the expensive things, maybe diamonds were there, all those things were brought. So she knew that when she was going to, there was premium comfort. Nobody wants to get married to suffer. Let me tell you the truth. Me, I told my husband before I got married that I did not come to this world to suffer. So every woman wants to get married to a sort of comfort. And that's not to say that women should not have anything to do. As men are asking, what is the woman bringing to the table? Okay? I'm telling every woman also that every woman that is listening to me now, I'm telling you, bring something to the table too. Get something doing. Have something. Work on your own purse. Don't wait for a man to bring you up. That's my thinking, okay? That's how I think. That's how I reason. This is my expectation. This is my advice to every sister. Have your own thing too. Have something doing. But as we all know, the man is the one who takes care of the marriage. Is the one who takes care of the wife. Technically, even if the woman has her own money, a man is expected, as the Bible said, of course, that a man who cannot provide for his own home is worse than an infidel. That's the Bible. I'm not talking from my own self. I'm saying what the Bible said. So the brother should have something to do. And Jesus asked that question. If a brother wants to get married and he cannot even feed himself, how is he going to feed 2 or 3 mouths? When the children start to come, many people get married. They go to bed and sleep with one another, and some ladies, many ladies, take in on the first night. They've not been with a man, and then they have, sex without protection. And so what do you think? After because they're consummating the marriage. They consummate the marriage, honeymoon is happening, and they take in. And maybe 9 months after or 10 months after, a baby has shown his head, or 2 babies, as the case may be. So if you don't have money to feed yourself, or you're struggling to even feed yourself, how are you going to feed another woman, another human being, which is your wife, who is your wife, and the child that is coming in another 9 months? Yes, somebody will say, what God cannot do does not exist. God can turn a life around. Well, you have to have something in your hands. You have to have something that you're doing. And God is going to work with what you have. But you cannot come and say, oh, I'm coming by faith, and God is going to do what He's going to do. You have to have something that you're doing. So the pastor was saying to the sisters that now you have the permission to go and visit the brother's home, visit the brother's people with another person, and go and see for yourself before you get married. And then he addressed the marriage committee, and he told them that they should try as much as possible. Like it's not as if marriage committee is in the Bible. It's not like a Bible injunction. It's not one of the doctrines of the Bible. It's just something that was placed just to help young people in their marriage journey, just to assist them, just as a guide. That's what it is. So, paraphrasing, the GS was saying that marriage committee should not be as a stumbling block to young people, should not hinder deeper life young people, young adults, from enjoying the whole marriage process towards their marriage. You should not make it like a burdensome journey. It should be an interesting journey. It should be the marriage committee working hand in hand to facilitate the marriage process, not to complicate the marriage process for the young people. So the marriage committee is not removed. It's not as if the GS said, no more marriage committee anymore. Cancelled. No. He is calling and is advising for a reform of the marriage committee, for things to be done the right way, and not for them to set up very high unattainable standards. And then he said this thing about earnestly contending for the faith, not earnestly contending for the button or for the gown. He said the gown can be red, can be white, the color, and that we're earnestly contending for the faith. So the fact that a gown is long and is touching the floor does not make it a sinful gown. Okay? The fact that the gown has some little pearls on them does not make it a sinful gown. And of course, that reminds me of when I got married. I'll share, as I promised you guys, so I'm going to share with you. When I was going to get married, so we came from Europe and we wanted to get married in Africa, precisely in Nigeria, because of family members, because if we did our marriage in Europe, it's going to be difficult for all our family members to be there. And for my family, it was going to be the first marriage. In my family, in my husband's family, not the first marriage, but being the oldest son, the family members, the cousins, the uncles, all the family members, they've been waiting, anticipating for his marriage, and everybody wanted to be in attendance, and we wanted to give them the opportunity to be there. So we decided to go to Africa, to Nigeria, to do our marriage. And so I had bought my gown already, because at first we thought that we were going to do our marriage in Europe. And then we changed our mind and said, okay, you know what, let's just take it to Nigeria. And then there was other issues that we had to resolve, like, we're moving, lots of things were happening in our life at that time. And we actually moved from Europe to Canada, right? So the whole move was happening at that time. We're in the process of that moving to Canada and stuff. Because I was living in France and my husband was living in another part of Europe. So we had to look for a country that will be easy for both of us. I speak French. My husband does not speak French, so even if he had to move to France, it's going to be a hassle, a struggle. Now it's a little easier. Some people move to France without speaking the language, and they start to learn on the ground. It's a little, I mean, it's difficult. Trust me. It's. I say it's a little easier because it's happening, but it doesn't mean that it's easy on the people that are doing it. So, anyway, my husband already speaks German, and he didn't see any reason why he should um, start learning French at this age, at this stage of his life. He just wants to build his family, build his life, and let's move forward. So we had to look for a neutral country. And Canada was like, oh, yes, let's try Canada. Canada is nice. I always like Canada because I still had the bilingualism. I'll be able to still speak both French and English in Canada because Canada is bilingual. So it was a very good option. So we decided, okay, we're going to move to Canada. Okay, we went to Nigeria to conduct our wedding. And I had already bought my wedding gown from Paris. Trust me, I bought the most simplest of gowns because I know my church. I didn't want them to say this gown is condemned, you cannot use it. So I made sure that the gown was like a sleeveless gown, and I was going to wear a bolero on it. Okay, so I bought the bolero that I was going to wear, like a small top that I was going to wear on top of that, my sleeveless gown. And the top was, it was quite high. It was not exposing. You couldn't see my cleavage. The gown was quite simple. It's like one of the it wasn't that expensive. The gown I really wanted, oh my God, it's beautiful. But if I had to amend that gown, the beauty was gone because the beauty was actually at the back of the gown. And I know my church, they will ask me to cut the gown. It was, flowy. It was flowy. It had a little tail and it was beautiful. The gown was splendid. It was beautiful. I have a picture of it. I'll look for the picture of it one day and I'll upload it for you to see. As I was trying to go, I took a picture of it. I couldn't help myself. So I bought this gown and then I bought all my things. I bought my shoes, I bought my handbag, I bought a little veil. Okay, you don't see it to them. I bought a veil. I was going to use that for my photo shoot and all that. And I came to Nigeria. And then when we got to Nigeria, we went to the marriage committee to show our gowns. And when they saw my gown, before then, I went to the seamstress, to my tailor or dressmaker, and I told her that this gown is kind of really touching the floor because you couldn't see the tip of my shoes when I wore the gown. So I told her that, you know what, I need you to cut my gown a little bit so that at least you can see the tip of my shoes, just because of marriage committee. So she did it. She's a Deeper Life member and she understands. So she did it and she made a very nice bolero for me that covered me all the way, that covered my arms, and it was long sleeve and it was nice. She took some design. So part of the cut that she made from my gown, she designed the bolero, the small top that I wore on top of my gown, that I was going to wear on top of my gown. It was nice. It was perfect. It was beautiful. I was happy. I was like, yes, marriage committee is not going to say no. I took it to them with my shoes, and because it was a little long, I needed a shoe that's a little high. And so we went to the marriage committee. We got to the marriage committee, and we had hats. Okay, I got married on the same day with my sister. So we bought our nice little hat, because in Europe, we get married with hats. White hat, very beautiful, modest hat. I brought it. And when we got there, they said, number one, this gown is too long, that it needed to be amended. So I went back, I cut the gown the first time. They said no. I cut the gown the second time. So I think I cut the gown about 3 times. The first cut when I came on my own and said, okay, I think that they will not accept it. When they didn't accept it, I cut it one more time. They said no. I cut it another time. And I took it and they said, no, that shoe of mine is too high. It has to be 1 inch or 2 inches. I don't know. They just tell you, they have a description of how the gown has to be. And so I had to abandon the shoe that I bought to wear. A silver, nice little shoe, sandals, like very cute shoe that I got in Paris. So I had to discard that shoe and I went to the Nigerian market to look for a simple shoe. I told the person that was going to just get me a simple shoe, a shoe they can never say no to. I got that shoe and I came with it. And they said, okay, try the gown. I tried the dress on. So then I wore my wedding dress. They started again. They said, no. I said, oh my God, like these people are frustrating me. I've cut this gown 3 times. What else do they want? This gown is like, it's a simple gown that would have been allowable in Europe. They said, you're not in Europe here. They told my mom, Mama, we know that you are a leader yourself. Okay? These your daughters. This their gown, they can wear it in their Europe. But in this Nigeria, in this Lagos, we will never allow them to wear that gown in this church here in Lagos. We will never allow it. My mom was like, hey, my daughters, come on. So I think that was what made me to cut it the 3rd time, if I remember right. Yes, that's what. It's been a long time. Okay, it's almost 15 years. So I had to. That's what made me to cut the gown the 3rd time, and then they said the hat. They will never allow me and my sister to wear that hat to wear in this church. We should go and look for a nice scarf. Tell the seamstress, the tailor, the dressmaker to make a very nice scarf looking whatever or tie a turban. I said, me, I will never tie a turban. Forget it. So I went to the lady that cut the gown. I said, look, what can we do to make it look like a little bit nice, a little bit presentable and all that. So she said, okay, you know what, we'll take some of the gown material and then we'll make a scarf for you. So she took that and then she made a scarf, she designed it, she sewed it down, and then she took a part of my gown. There was a kind of bow that was on it that looked really fancy. I think they said I should take it off. I don't know, I can't remember anymore. So I think I took part of that and I used it to design the scarf that I wore. But one thing that stood out for me is my mom saying to me that, look, these people, they have nothing to lose. You want to get married, just go, do your wedding, and go your way. When you go to Europe, you continue wearing your hat where you go. There's nothing wrong with the hat. It's just because in Nigeria, deeper life is not known to wear a hat for wedding. And so they said, it's not going to happen. And so, me, I want to get married. They are their marriage committee. They are sitting down there. They have nothing to lose. It's my own wedding day. It's my day of joy. I needed to get married so that I can move on with my life and start living with my husband. I had to comply. So I went on. I did all the cutting of the gowns that I needed to cut. I got the shoe, the most simplest shoes ever that will not bring up any stories that touch the heart. And they're not going to give me any ugly shoe to wear. I think I even wore that shoe once. After that one time, I threw the shoe away because the shoe was not really nice. It's not my regular shoe. It's not the kind of shoe that I'll go to the store and buy with my money. So, anyways, long story short, that was how my sister also adjusted her gown. And I had something inside the gown that makes it puffy. But because of how they said, oh, it's too much like a American wedding dress. It's like a dinner gown, you're not allowed. So I had to take out that thing that makes the gowns puffy, that makes the dress puffy. I discarded it. I didn't wear it. And when my friend, the person that went shopping for the gown with me, or the person that saw me bring the gown the first time, she's like, why didn't you wear the thing inside? I say, marriage committee. Hey, I just had to remove it. She's like, oh no, it killed the beauty of the gown. The gown was not as pretty as it was when you wore it the first. I'm like, you know what? Forget it. All that one does not matter. Now I'm just ready to go and build my family. I'm not about fighting the marriage committee or dragging it with them. Oh, I have to wear my gown this way. This is how it is. It must happen. At the end of the day, I just let them be. Because me, I had to do my marriage. And everybody, our pictures went viral because they said, oh my God, that couple, they came from abroad. They allowed them to wear this gown. Their gown was this. Their gown was so cute. Their gown was that. Oh, this, oh, that. And after that, people started making that kind of design. I'm talking about 13 years ago, thereabout. That was what happened. That was my own marriage committee story. The men don't have much problem because it's a regular suit that every other man will wear to get married anywhere. They wear their suit, they wear their tie, they comb their hair, they cut their hair, and they shave a little bit, and off they're good to go. It's the ladies that usually have a lot of problems with the marriage committee if their dress, their shoe, or their head tie is rejected by the marriage committee. That's where you start having problems. But there are lots of people who have had other kind of problems with the marriage committee that doesn't really have to do with just the gown, the dress, the button. There are much more other things. So many people, some people have written to me that the marriage committee said that the person they want to get married to is not the will of God for them. Or other people have written to me to say I should talk about this issue of the marriage committee trying to stop them from being on the queue. I don't know about that. Okay, I'm not there, can't vouch for it, but that's what they said, that there usually used to be a queue. Like some sisters are very popular, and then there's a lot of um, brothers who want to get married to them, and there's a long queue, and maybe they find out the brother that is much more better to do is at the end of the queue, and they're moving forward. I don't know if it's true. All I can tell you is that I usually tell people when they have issues with the marriage committee that if for any reason whatsoever your marriage process has been delayed, be bold enough to go to the marriage committee and have a conversation with them. They're just human beings. They are not God. They are just human beings. Tell them, sir and ma, respectfully, what's the reason why my marriage is not happening now? Is there a reason? I want to know. Why is there a delay? Why have we not been called upon to continue with our marriage process? Is there anything that you want to tell us about? And if the marriage committee where you are is not cooperating with you, my brother, my sister, feel free to reach out to the pastor of that church where you are. Reach out to the regional overseer, reach out to the state overseer, reach out to the national overseer, reach out to the headquarters if you have to. That's what they call conflict resolution. If you have a conflict with the marriage committee, you need to resolve the conflict. And at the level you are reaching out is not working, then you go a step ahead until you find a solution. Because lots of people have left the church because of these issues with the marriage committee. And the pastor rightly said it himself. He said he's tired of going to places and finding people who say, "Oh, I'm your child, you're my father." And it's like, "Oh, where do you worship?" And they mention the name of the church they go to. And he asks, "Okay, why did you leave?" "Oh, because of what the marriage committee did for me. I'm fine where I am right now, but because of the marriage committee, at the point of marriage, we left the church because of X, Y, and Z reasons." And the GS was telling the marriage committee to please, let's stay on the fundamentals of the Bible doctrines, the faith, sanctification, holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord. People are not committing sin. Why are you putting them under discipline? These little things that are making people to leave the church. Where the marriage committee or members of the marriage committee don't listen to the young people of the church, or even the pastor does not listen to the church, the young adults, to hear them out, to reason with them, to hear what do they have to say. Life is about communication. We cannot just, this is how we have always done it. This is how we're going to do it. Nothing is going to change. You're not going to bring strange doctrine. It's not strange doctrine. And he also talked about courtship. He said that there's nowhere in the Bible where it says courtship has to be 6 months or 3 months or 1 year or 2. No, there's nowhere in the Bible like that. That is just church administration. The church just places it down there to help people, to help the church members to facilitate their marriage process. It's nothing to do with Bible doctrine. Nothing at all to do with Bible doctrine. So I don't know if there's any question. Let me check if there's any question. And I want to answer your question. If you have any question live, I want to answer your question. I'm available today. Okay. Tomorrow is public holiday, so I have time. People of God. Let me see if you have any question. Please feel free to ask your question. Let me see if there's any question. Let me see. Any question? Let me see. Okay, this person, Meekness, said, "I'm so happy to hear that." Yes, you're welcome. You are very welcome. I'm happy to share. I'm very happy to share with you, to share this with you. So the marriage committee needs to just be reformed, not that the GS has removed the marriage committee, they are no longer existent, just like some bloggers are taking it. That's not true. That's not what is happening. GS only said that the marriage committee needs to do things in such a way that young people are not pushed out of the church for things that have nothing to do with sin. Okay, and that's what the GS talked about. So the I think I'm going to find a way to talk more about this with more people, more of our admin members, moderators, and maybe even some one or two people who are interested in joining the conversation. So I'll be very happy to talk more on this issue. I'm sure the internet is running with this. I'll say yes. The Bible Church. This is what the GS has said. So GS never said that sisters should go to brother's house and visit them and sleep over. He did not say that. He said, "You are children of God. I trust you, and I know that you will not go there and commit sin. You just want to go and check the brother's house and check that what he's telling you is accurate, and check that what you're going to where you're going to be living after marriage is what you expect to see." He just made it open. It's not no more a taboo to go with his sister to visit a brother. I know even before he even said it, lots of sisters have gone to. I before getting married, even though my husband did not live, like we didn't live in Nigeria at the time, I went to visit the family home of my husband. I went to see where they live, where he grew up, his background, his parents, where they live. I went with my friend and we sat there. I listened to his parents. I looked at the surrounding. I went around. I went to the bathroom. That was not where I was going to live, but it was good for me to know, even though you wouldn't know everything about the family just by visiting one time. But it's ideal to go because sometimes when you're conversing, when you're talking, you pick one or two things. It's a good thing. I tell people it's a very good thing to go and see where the guy is living. And if you're a sister, you live in the same city with the brother. Get your friend, go and do your own research. I have a friend and I love what she did. She lives in Canada. She's getting married to a brother who lives in Africa. And she did what we call investigative investigation. I don't know if I call it investigative process. She did investigate the brother. She got someone that she paid, and she asked the guy to go and fact check to make sure that what this brother, this person she was getting married to, or she plans to get married to, was telling her is actually real. She has even promised that she will come one day to our lives. I look forward to whenever we can catch her and bring her to our life. She's not from Nigeria. She's from another West African country and she doesn't know how Nigeria works. And I love the things that she did. She did her own investigation. She sent people to go to the guy's neighborhood to go and know what he says about himself, who are his parents, are they really his parents? She asked those people to go and check where he said he had worked in the past. She asked them to go and ask, the surrounding, the neighborhood, like what kind of person that he is. Does he have any past? Are there things that she needs to know? Does he have any children that she doesn't know about? And especially those people who live in the diaspora and they're getting married to people in Africa. Do your due diligence. Don't say, "Oh, the brother told me. I believe him." Yes, I know you believe him. We're all Christians. But go and do your own due diligence. Get a friend. Get someone to do investigation. My dad did the same. My husband lives in another country in Europe. I was living in another country in Europe. My dad got someone to go and make inquiries about my husband's family. Go and know about this person. How did he, what about him? Where is his family from? What did they do? What kind of things are they involved in? And he made inquiries. He asked, my dad was a leader in deeper life. So before he died, okay, he has passed, he has gone to glory now. So he made inquiries. He asked the leaders in Europe, how did this young man come to Europe? What does he do in Europe? Is he into, all these hard drugs or not? Was he really a student like he said? Is he really doing a PhD like he said? And what are his activity like? Does he come to church? Is he someone who is constant in church or someone who just goes and comes? Does he have a white wife? Does he have a white lady that he's married to because of papers or not? My dad did inquiries, and they said, yeah, this young man has been a Christian for all these 6-7 years that he has been with us here. He comes to church, he's one of the assistant pastors, this is what he does. And they said, yeah, pastor, we can ascertain that this young man is a Christian. That is doing your due diligence. My dad did that for me. Thank God. God bless his soul. He was a lovely father to me. He solved some of my problems, right? And then he did the inquiries in Nigeria. I was so naive. I didn't think of all those things that my father was doing, because he was sure. He wanted to be sure that his child was going to the right place. And you as a sister, you might not have a dad like me. Maybe your dad is already late. Maybe you don't have, people who who can have your back like me. Please, you have a friend. You yourself, you can go make inquiries. If you need to hire someone, I know life is expensive, but you can do your own research. If you're not in the same church, you can go to his church and make inquiries, ask questions, ask his friends questions, ask people from his school questions, reach out to the school and ask, this person, how was his Christian life? Was he a Christian? Was he following God? Does he go to church? How is his life like? Ask questions, my sisters, ask questions. And when the brother, I don't want to tell you everything, but the one sister confided in me, and she said the one day she's going to share her story. I'm going to tell you a bit. I won't mention her name so you won't know her. Anyways, she said that this brother told her that she was living abroad. This one did not do all her due diligence like this my other friend I'm telling you about. She just took the word of this brother for whatever he said, just the way it is. And trust me, the guy was telling a lie. He said he had a certain amount of millions in his account because he was supposed to move and join her, and at the end of the day it wasn't true. He didn't have that money in his account. And my problem with that man, I told him, I said, my brother, I'm not against people not having money, but I'm against people lying that they have money that they don't have. Why are you telling lies? If this sister loves you and she wants to marry you, you just come clean and say, my sister, I'm ready to work. I'm ready to do my best to make our family work. But right now, with expenses, with this, with that, this is how much I have, this is how much I earn, and this is how much I can afford. But I'm ready to join hands with you. Anyway you're living abroad, we'll come abroad, we'll work together. That's being sincere and being factual. At this marriage program, you heard it many times. It was said, even in our church, it was said many times, that the number one reason why people have problems in marriages is finances. Finance is the number one reason why marriages are breaking. Even in this Canada, in North America, in Europe, in Nigeria, in Africa, lots of marriages are falling apart because of financial reasons. They say marriage is sweet until money issues come. Marriage is sweeter when there is money, because money makes life beautiful. It's time to do sweet things, nice gifts, sweet, soft life. I like soft life. But I like to work for my money. I like to have my own money too. But at the same time, I appreciated the fact that my husband was sincere with me. He let me know the background he came from. I know where he was. I know I was coming into that marriage not blind. I was coming with my full senses. I knew what I was coming into. I knew the man I was getting married to. I knew how much he had in his account. I knew what he can afford. I know what he cannot afford. There's no deception. And that's why this sister was crying that people need to go to this brother's house and go and fact check and make sure that what these brothers are saying is the truth. Brothers, in the name of God, if you said your sins have been washed away, this songwriter said, if you say you love the Savior, in his love you'll always live. If you say your sins are forgiven and gone, then prove it by the life you live. Prove it by the life you live. Prove it by the sincerity you display. Prove it by the truthfulness that comes out of your mouth. You want to marry a sister, you don't need to tell lies, my brother. My sister, you want to marry a brother, you don't need to tell lies. Another brother asked another question during the marriage question and answer. He said many years ago, he had when that GS had abolished a marriage that took place. And GS asked him, yeah, you did. He said yes, he was a young boy at the time when that question and answer happened. And I've heard about that thing. He said the sister did not have the openings in her body, the adequate openings in her body. In the sense that maybe, the private part was not opened. Some people have those kind of issues where they are like, I don't know, they have two organs, two private organs, and you don't know if they are male or female. So, and she didn't have the opening that a man would need to consummate the marriage, and that the case was brought to the GS, and the marriage was abolished. It was cancelled because the marriage was not consummated. It cannot be consummated. Now he just made a very clear and simple illustration. If you go to school, you go to a university, for example, and you got admitted to the university on the basis of you having this or that certificate, and eventually the university finds out that you don't have the certificate that you profess to have, what happens? Your admission is null and void. It's cancelled. That admission cannot stand. You will be expelled, expulsed, and taken out of the university. So there is no marriage where it started on deception. You don't have bust, and you're using padding, and there's nothing there. Or you don't have openings, nowhere to consummate the marriage. You know how a man and a woman have sleep with one another, consummate the marriage, have sex, right? And then you don't have the openings. How is it going to happen? It cannot happen. So you cannot say that, oh, God hates divorce, and then you hide those things about you and you get married. And you think that, yeah, it's just going to take me like that and we're going to be managing. Or you are a man. And in court, you are a eunuch. That's why my husband, I asked him when he went to marriage committee, like, what did they ask you? He said they asked him if he gets, around, erected in the morning, like his private part gets, stands up, like, when he goes to urinate, when he wakes up, does he stand? They asked him those things because a guy that is a eunuch that cannot meet a woman does not have any business with marriage, has no business, absolute no business with getting married. That's the truth. Those are the things that the GS said. And I think he also talked to the marriage couple. There was another question for the married people. Like, what is it being? Should marriage be like slavery? This is more for the married people, but for the singles, these are the two questions. These are the main two questions that concerns the singles. So I'm going to find a way to get that video, the full video, and share it on the YouTube channel. And I think that somebody might benefit for it. It was a very long question and answer, very interesting, very instructive, and people were happy. I know lots of people clapped when the pastor, explained and told the sisters that yes, now they have the permission, they can go and visit the brothers, they can go and see for themselves where they're going to go to after marriage. They want to go and see, they should go with a sister and go and see for themselves. So my dear sisters, brothers, people of God, marriage is not a difficult thing if two people are sincere. Just open. Sincerity is very important. Don't be anything that you're not. Just tell the sister the way it is. Brother, tell the sister the way it is. Sister, tell the brother the way it is. There's no need to hide. There's no need to pretend that you have something that you don't have. If you have been someone who has, aborted children, be free to tell the brother, there's something about my past. I have done this, I have done that. So that this man does not find this out from maybe one ex of yours wants to blackmail you and decide, now you got married. Okay, I'm going to get you. And then he has something because maybe you have not shared with your husband to be or your husband. Then he has something that is holding against you, and then he has something to blackmail you with. But if you have been open and you have told your fiancé everything, anybody that hates you, any lady friend, it can be a female, it can even be a male that wants to blackmail you, they will have nothing with which to blackmail you because you have been open from the word go. You have been forthcoming. You have told him everything. There is nothing to hide. There is no new thing that a guy, the person that wants to get married to you, will hear and be like, what? This marriage, I cannot go forward again because I heard this and he didn't tell me about it. If you have told him already, there will be nothing to hear that he has not heard. So don't, every skeleton in your cupboard, if you have prayed and it's the will of God, and you believe that it's the will of God, be open one with another. Somebody will ask me, okay, what if I tell him and he decides that because me, I've told him now, he doesn't want to continue with the marriage anymore? What happens? Well, my sister, if he decides that because you told him sincerely what you did in the past, you don't have to tell him, oh, I met this person, I mentioned their names, that boy over there, this guy on social media, let me show you, I did this, I did with that. You don't have to enumerate them. But you should be able to openly say, I've had a couple of, relationships, and maybe if you have gotten pregnant, you tell him you've gotten pregnant, and this is what happened because it was in the time of ignorance. And the Bible said that the time of ignorance, God winked at. Right? You were ignorant, you didn't know, you were not a child of God, and this is what you did in that time of ignorance. So if that man is a Christian and he wants to do God's will, he will realize or understand or agree that God has forgiven you. Who is he not to forgive you for what you have done in the past? And if you're a male, you've had children in the past, do not hide it from your wife to be. Tell her openly. Tell her that this is what happened. I had a child in the past. Don't let her discover it. Don't let her have to hear it from another source that you have children. That breaks trust in the family. Be open. Be sincere. Let her know what your past has been, so that at least she will have some time to digest it and say, okay, is this what I want to do or not? Is this where I want to go or not? Can I swallow this pill or not? But don't hide it from her and then we expect that, when you get married, she'll be stuck. Then I can share with her. She cannot go out anymore. You're not a trustworthy person if that's how you're thinking. That's not how a Christian will live. That's not the Christian way. The Christian way is to be opened like this from the beginning and let your partner make the decision. And that's why I like the fact that the marriage committee, the church, Deeper Life Bible Church, does blood tests. And so there's nobody that will have HIV and hide it from their spouse to be, and then, get married because they want to get married. And then, no, those things will not. There's nothing like that because we do blood tests first. And those are some of the good things of the marriage committee. Those blood tests, those hepatitis B, hepatitis C, hepatitis, all the medical people understand all the tests that they do, but they subject you to tests. After the test, they make sure that both of you are compatible, and then after that, the process of the marriage can continue. Okay? I don't know if I answered all your questions. Let me see. Is there any more questions? Any more questions? Okay. Thank you for everyone who has connected to watch. Thank you for coming to have this small chit chat with me today. I know these bloggers are going to run with this. They're going to cut it any way they want to cut it, but we're going to give you the full video. And please go and watch the full video. Don't listen to all those things that bloggers are breaking, writing this, writing that. Some of them are not completely true. Some of them are telling a lot of lies just because they want you to watch their things. They're looking for, something to catch you, a hook, something that'll make you to click, that'll make you to watch. Please, the full video is there on the church channel, and on our channel as well. We have a snippet of that video that we have uploaded about 3 years ago, I think, or 4 years ago, which is like a question and answer. And I think we can add more and maybe download the whole few video for you all to watch. Okay, God bless you. Please remember, sincerity is very important. Truthfulness. Making sure that trust is not broken. Don't do anything that will make the person that wants to get married to you to lose trust in you. And when you're getting married, don't marry because of money, because of what the guy has, because of the job, because he's living abroad, because she's living abroad, because she'll take me abroad. Don't marry because of those reasons, because money has wings sometimes, and money can fly away. Money does not bring happiness. It makes life easy. It gives you soft life, but it does not bring you happiness. If you marry because of money and you realize that the man that you marry is a big problem, my brother, my sister, you will have yourself to blame. And the pastors rightly said it. Marriage can make your journey to heaven difficult. If you want to have a good journey to heaven, a good journey to heaven, easy journey to heaven, so that you will not be singing, it's not an easy road. In your marriage, so you will not be singing, it's not an easy road. Make sure that you marry in the center of God's will. Marry a man that God has told you to marry. Marry a woman that God has told you to marry. Don't look at all these things. When you team up together, the Bible said 1 will change 1,000, 2 will change 10,000. Both of you, marry in the center of God's will. God will open doors for you. Where I am today is not where I was when I got married. When I got married to my husband, we don't have all that we have. I'm not the kind of person that tells people what I have. Like I'm not the kind of person that will come online and say, oh, we have this amount of houses, or we have that house there, we have this. I don't really share that part of my life. But trust me, God has not failed us at any point of our life. We came together and we teamed up. Two with God. One with God is majority. Imagine what two with God is. We joined our hands together with God. We worked together with God. And God opened doors that we never saw. We prayed together because we share the same faith. We share the same belief. We have the same conviction. We don't have things we're tussling about. That was the guy I wanted to get married to. And he told me, you know what? I don't mind drinking from time to time. I say, what? There's going to be beer in my fridge when I get married to you? No way. Of course, I'm not doing it with God's way. I was just doing my own thing, you know. He was just a friend I had known before, and then he was proposing to me, wanted to get married to me, and you know, he goes to another church, not Pentecostal. I don't want to mention his church, but we don't believe the same things. We're good friends, yes. Good friends does not mean that you're compatible for marriage. I told him, me and you, we can't do this together. We are not compatible. I will not get married to you because you are a fine boy. The guy is a fine boy. If I wanted to go by looks alone, I would have married this guy. He's a fine boy, sweet fine boy. My spec. Well, that was not God's spec for me. And I was ready to do God's spec for me, not my own spec for myself. Because I know that marriage is a long road. It's a long journey. You don't do it with your spec. I want him tall, dark, and handsome. I want him fair, huge, and large. I want him with 6 packs. I want him to have this. I want him to drive a Hilux. I want him to drive a Toyota Highlander. I want him to drive a Tesla. I want him to drive a, Audi. All those things, my friends. When you get married, marriage is more than all those possessions, material things. Marriage is more than that. Because when you marry those things, if you are marrying only because of that, and when problems start happening, all those things will no longer mean anything to you. It will not mean anything to you. Because in this country, when people marry because of only that, and they start breaking their marriage in pieces, those houses they bought together, they sell it off. Whether it's the market time is good to sell or not, they don't care. Because now they are separating, we're breaking everything. We're separating. We're not doing this no more. We're going our separate way. They break everything. They sell the house at very cheap prices. And they start fighting over how many percentage will you take? I'll take 5%. I worked more. I paid more mortgage. And they start going to court. And they are fighting. It's a very sad thing to see when marriages are breaking. That's why you don't want your marriage to break. That's why I'm emphasizing. Every time I come here and I tell you guys, pray before you marry so that you will not pray. One of my friends, she always tells me, she says, oh my God, sometimes she looks up to heaven and says, God, oh my God, please, big man up there, easy on me. Easy on me. I know I messed up, but easy on me. She begs God in a corner because God was leading her to someone else. At that time, that guy was still in Nigeria. She didn't see any prospect. She didn't see any future with that guy. She didn't see anything will come out of that guy. She married another guy who was already living here in Canada, and the guy brought her to Canada. But this guy, the guy is erratic. The guy is rough. The guy is not nice. The guy is unkind. The guy is reckless. That guy showed her. You know when Nigerians say, he showed you pepper. The guy is showing her pepper. And the guy that was supposed to marry her before, that she rejected, that guy eventually lives in Canada now. That guy is living very fine. That guy has bought his house, went back home to marry another lady. The guy is so peaceful. When I saw the guy, I'm like, what? You left this guy for this other guy? Because you know tomorrow. She say, my sister, anything you say, I will take it, my sister, please. I don't know. Now, all I do now is to advise her, to counsel her, to encourage her, because the marriage that she got married to, how many years ago now, the marriage has broken. They're living in separate houses. The house they bought together, they've sold it. They sold the house. Everybody just went their separate way. They're now renting in places. Every day they are fighting. custody of children. Give me children. What did your mommy say? What did she not say? The man will say, I'm going to unalive you. I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to do this to you. He's always threatening her. Every time she's watching her back. Every time she's like, I don't know. If anything happens to her, she's like, I don't know if it's this guy that sent these people to me. Is this supposed to be? Is that what marriage is all about? So those kind of things, when I hear them, I'm like, it's not better off to be even alone than to be in a marriage of chaos, everyday fight. You guys are fighting each other. The guy holds her neck, he hits her, he hurts her, and before she was deceiving people, she would say no, she would not want people to know that it's the guy that is hurting her, that is hitting her. She used makeup to cover it up. She worked very hard. The guy will take the whole money, and then, to cover face and be like a good African wife, she'd say, oh, the guy owns everything, and he's a good man. They wear clothes together. They will snap together online. That's why I tell people, all those things that you see online, some of them are real. The marriage is working. Some of them is not true. It's just a show. Don't take everything that you see on social media and say, I want my marriage to be like that person. I want my marriage to be like that person. Do you know everything that happens in their home? Do you know everything that happens in their home? No, you don't. Let your marriage be what God wants it to be, and not by the criteria or the standard of what you see on social media or what you hear. You don't live with them. Ask God to give you the bone of your bone and the flesh of your flesh. That's the only way you're going to be happy, my friends. That's the only way you're going to be happy. Forget all these things that you're seeing, all these things that you're chasing about, all this celebrity that you're chasing about. One of the celebrities, I saw her, they said, oh, she's coming to come and give birth to her children in Canada. And they were making a fuss about it. Yeah, they were making all sorts of things, opening their gifts. Oh, going to I was laughing, I smiled, and I looked at my husband and said, oh my God, look at how they're making a big thing about this, giving birth to their children in Canada. Our kids were born in Canada. We never announced it. We didn't make a fuss about it. It was not a big deal. It was just it's our normal reality. Anyway, I'm not saying that it's bad, but I'm saying be careful with what you are looking at, with who you are chasing after. Because at the end of the day, it will come down to you and that man that you get married to. You and that woman you get married to. No pastor is going to come there and live with you. You're going to live with that person. Make sure you're making the right choice, because you will live with your choice, my dear, my friend. You will live with your choice. Thank you for connecting from DLBC Bronx, New York. I'm happy to see you. I have Agu from DLBC Bronx, New York. Thank you for connecting from there. Where are you connecting from? Please, everybody, wherever you're connecting from, let us know in the comment section where you're connecting from. Thank you so much for staying with me for this little live and this conversation. Yay! Good to see you, brother Agu. I think it's a brother. I see his picture. It's a brother. Thank you for coming, for stopping by. So, my dear, you know fully well that at the end of the day, you are the one to live with the choice of the husband or the wife that you marry. Because they say on the marriage day, they say, who giveth this woman or this man? They ask the parents that, right? And then they ask you if this is your choice of a husband, if you can testify, it's been a long time. I can't even remember what I say on I need to go and listen to those marriage. It's been a long time since we did our marriage, so I can't remember the real words, but my dear friends, whoever you get married to, it's either they break you or they make you. To either make or mar you. Like some people will get married, they get married to a certain person, their life will get sweeter, better, enviable, beautiful. Some other people will marry someone, their life will go downhill. They'll go downhill, they'll be miserable. Their life being single would even be better off, because children have come, they'll be struggling, they will age as women. The men will start getting sick. They will be disillusioned. They don't know where they're going because of the hassle and the problems that is in that mind. I've heard a lot. I'm a leader's child. I know I've heard a lot of things. I know a lot of things, guys. I know a lot of problems that happens in many homes. And of course, all those stories, when I hear them as a young person, I will always go to my room and say, God, please, don't let me marry and suffer in my marriage. Please, in the name of God. I would rather not marry than get married and suffer in that marriage. That used to be my prayer for years. I was praying. And I was very careful. Very careful. So I was not interested in marrying just any kind of person, chasing after what does he have, where is he working, NNPC, LNNG, whatever. All those things is rubbish to me. For me, as long as the man is serious, the man is faithful, the man is a Christian, very sound believer, following Jesus. His salvation is current, not in the past. I used to be 1980s, 1990s. No, that's not what I was looking for. I wanted a real Christian because I wasn't ready to change my conviction. All the while we were living abroad, I know who I have believed and I know my conviction, and nothing was going to change it. I'd gone through many stages in my own life that I know what I wanted in Christ. I had possibility of leaving Jesus and going away. Went on campus all the while I was living in Europe. I could have changed. I tell people, look, my still going to deeper life because God still wants me here. If God has not told me to live deeper life, and I still say it up till now, God has not told me to live deeper life. If God tells me to live deeper life, I'll go. I'll live deeper life. But God has not told me to live deeper life, so I'm still here. I have friends who call me from home and like, what? You still go to that church? Still a deeper life member? I say, yeah, I'm still a deeper life. You're still natural? Yes, I'm still natural. You still don't wear pants? Yeah, I still don't wear pants. You still don't wear bum shorts? No, I don't wear bum shorts. You still modest? Yes, I'm still modest. I'm still following Jesus. Bible said, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, not looking unto GS, not looking unto Kumuyi, not looking unto one pastor, that pastor, not even looking unto my dad who was a pastor in the Bible Church. No. My own relationship with God was personal. Between me and Jesus, I gave my heart to Jesus. I didn't give my heart to any leader. I didn't give my heart to anybody. Because at the end of the day, everybody will stand before the judgment seat of Christ. And the Bible said all our works will be tried by fire. So know yourself. Know the God that you're serving. Know the God that you're following. So stop saying this, oh, my pastor made me do. Which pastor? Can't you pray? That's why I wonder when people call me and say, can you pray with me and tell me if this... What do you mean? I'm not going to live with that person. You're going to live with that person. You should be able to pray. You can say, oh, can you pray with me? I'm praying about the will of God. Yeah, I can pray along with you that God will give you clarity, that God will help you to know if you're making a mistake. But I cannot know the will of God for you. You have to know the will of God for yourself because you're going to live with that person. Looks like my internet is kind of misbehaving. Let me see. What's going on? Can you hear me still? Let me know if you can still hear me. It's showing me a sign that my network is misbehaving. Okay. Next time I need to plug this thing to my router. I think I'm very far from my router, so it sounds like it tells me that my internet is kind of fluctuating. Okay, let's give it a minute. Okay, I think my internet is back. Okay. Let me know. Can you hear me still? I think my internet is stable again. Don't worry. I'm just sitting in my daughter's room, and so my internet is kind of fluctuating. So, okay, you can hear me. Thank you for responding, Brother Agu. Yeah, so know Jesus for yourself. It all starts with knowing Jesus. Knowing the will of God starts with you yourself having a personal relationship with God. If you have a personal relationship with God, you'll be able to hear God clearly. And God is speaking to you. You will hear him clearly. You don't need anybody to tell you how God is speaking to you because you personally know how God speaks to you. And I talk to many young people. I'm a PK, right? I'm a pastor's kid. So I know the struggle of pastors' kids. I know the struggle of leaders' children. And I know the struggles of regular people in the church because I'm married to my husband who was not a PK in deeper life, right? So I know, and I've heard, I might not have experienced it, but I know I've seen life from different sides, right? And so I know that I made up my mind that this is how I want to live. After I gave my life to Jesus, I made a commitment that I was going to follow Jesus because my giving my heart to Jesus came at a point where normally I should have completely gone astray, because I was becoming a teenager when I actually was already a teenager when I gave my heart to Jesus. And before then, I was almost becoming an atheist. Sorry, it's very hot right now. This summer we have a heat wave right now, and I am so hot. It's funny how when the cold comes and it's extremely cold, I would say, "Oh my God, it's freezing and it's so cold." But I think I like the cold more than the heat. But I'm hot. I'm hot right now. So, anyways, the AC is on. I hope that it gets to me soon. I feel hot. But anyways, don't mind me when you see me blowing myself. Just know that it's because I'm hot. So, um, when I gave my heart to Jesus, I was at a pivotal point in my life where I I was beginning to go into philosophy, and I was questioning the existence of God. I was at a point where I was doubting if all this church going and all these things that they do in church was real. If it was not just like a show and just like I just had my doubts. I was just this child of my parents that I think I was one of their toughest children. I was just this child that just didn't believe. It took me a while for me to come to believe that Jesus was real, that God was real, and God had to show himself to me. God had to speak to me through another means, through a movie that was not created by Deeper Life Bible Church. That was not even a Nigerian movie. That was really a West African movie, and I never found that movie again. I don't know. It's weird. I've been looking for it. It was a French. It was a French movie, and I we were watching it in the family. And after we watched it, just one verse of the Bible. That's why the Bible is powerful. The Word of God is a two-edged sword, and that was Matthew chapter 11 from verse 23. Let me see if I can find the verse right now. Matthew. Many people have heard me share it, and that's my salvation story. So I don't stop myself from. I'm always happy. I'm always eager to share it because I believe that somebody somewhere might just also need it. Might just be at this point where they don't believe anything about God, and maybe they're having problems in their family, maybe they're having problems in their education, maybe everything is just hard, no door doesn't open, they've prayed, and they're beginning to ask themselves if God is even listening to them, even if God even exists. Like, how come if God exists, how come He's not hearing me? And that's why I like to share the testimony of how Christ found me, how I found Christ, how God caught me, and how he saved me. It was Matthew chapter 11 from verse 28 to 30. It was read in French, but I'll read it in English for you. He said, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me. For I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." My yoke is easy and my burden is light. And I was at a point where I had a lot of fights with my parents. We weren't really in good terms. You know how PKs that don't want to follow the way of the Lord have issues with their parents, right? I was one of those kids. Now my dad will ask, "Are you born again?" And I'm like, "No." "No? Why?" "Because I don't believe." I was very upfront. I'll tell him I don't believe. And he came to a realization that this child just needs to be prayed for. And he took it upon himself. And he prayed for me almost every night. My dad will come into my bedroom. He will lay his hand on my head and he'll be praying. And I'll be hissing. I was that kind of child. He's like, "Just be disturbing me in the morning. You say we should come for devotion and you're not letting me sleep. Don't pray. Leave me alone." I was always telling him to leave me alone. But this man didn't give up. My mom said she used to pray for us. She had her own list of prayers that she prayed for each and every one of us on every different days. We had different days. We were 7 in number. We are 7 in number because we're still 7 in number. And she would pray for each and every one of us on different days. But I know my dad because I know that he comes to my room and he will lay his hand upon my head and he will pray for me. He came to a point where he realized that cane, flogging, punishment, all those things didn't cut it for me. My heart was hardened. And the devil really wanted to get me. But thank God for Calvary. And that's why I love that song. Thanks to Calvary, I am not the one I used to be. Thanks to Calvary, I don't live there anymore. God saved me in His own wonderful way. He found me, He sought me, and Calvary, the cross, was not in vain in my life. After I read that passage, I didn't read it actually, it was said this person was leading another person to Christ. A little kid, they were leading this person to Christ, and they were sharing the verses of the Bible with her, and they were praying with her. And I was watching it, and I saw the process. And I don't know, the Bible, that passage just hit me differently. And we watched the movie, completed the movie. Daddy prayed with us all, and he said good night to every one of us, and we went to bed. And I went to my room, and the verse was just ringing in my mind again and again. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Venez à moi, vous tous qui êtes chargés, je vous donnerai du repos. That's how it said in French. I will give you rest. For my yoke is easy, my burden is light. And I was thinking about it. He said, come to me. How do I come to him? How do I do it? Okay, let me just imitate. So I just tried to follow the step, and I knelt down in my room by my bed, and I said, God, I don't know if you exist. I don't really believe in your existence. But if you really exist, I'm really tired of how my life was going, because I was kind of struggling with depression at that time in my life, because I had my issues with my parents, and we were always at loggerhead. And especially with my mom, we never saw, like, we had our own issues. And so I was fighting her, and it was like, always I was always fighting her. We were having like misunderstandings, and it was kind of affecting me. I was a teenager at the time too, so for whatever reasons, I don't know where that depression came from, but I was depressive, and I was even suicidal. I was at that point where I felt like, what's the essence of life? God does not exist. I don't want to live anymore. I was tired of my life. I just wanted to, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with me. I think the devil really wanted me, but God wanted something different for me, and God watched out for me. God looked out for me. And I thank God for the prayer of my dad and my mom too. She was praying for me, I know, my parents and the church of God, because church members knew that this daughter of this pastor, this pastor's daughter does not believe. And I will say to anybody that cares to hear that I don't believe in the existence of God. And God was hearing it. And people were praying for me. And this verse of the Bible kept ringing again and again in my heart. And I knelt down and I said, if God, you exist, I'm coming to you today. I'm doing my part. I'm asking you to please forgive me for every sin that I've committed. I'm sorry for everything I've done wrong. And please forgive me. Wash me in your blood. And give me the grace to be your child. Come into my heart and be my Lord and personal Savior. I want to live for you. But after I've done that, what's the need for me? Imagine I was bargaining with God. How do I know that you're real? And for the one time in my life, the only time in my life, I had a voice. I don't know. I had a voice. I was awake. I wasn't asleep. I had a voice. You will succeed. I was struggling with my studies at that time. I don't know why. Maybe because of what was going on in my life. I was struggling with my studies. I was not doing too well in my class. I was struggling with maths and other subjects. And I didn't see myself becoming anything out of life. I thought I was going to be a failure. And God told me I was going to succeed. And trust me, whether you believe it or not, God helped me and turned my life around. He turned my life 360 around. And I began to do well in school. And my dad was like, wow, oh my God, Princess, you're making me proud. I'm so proud of you. And he was watching me. He noticed that things changed. I was more calm. I was no more always angry and annoyed. I was, reading my Bible whenever I had the opportunity. I was no longer into romance novels because I loved romance novels. I was always reading romance. I was no longer into romance novels. I started to read autobiographies, John Grisham. John, is it John Graham? Try to remember those books. Martin Luther's autobiography. I started to read God's General. I started to read, all those Christian books. How to live a purposeful life, God-fulfilled life. and what will Jesus do? Some of those books, there are lots of books in my dad's library at the time. So I started to read those books, and I'll read my Bible in the morning. I'll pray. I was having a nice time with the Lord, and it was reflecting in the way. I didn't tell him I'd give my heart to Jesus, but he could see the fruits. He could see that the way I was talking to my mom was like different. I was no longer, very aggressive as I used to be, and things. My life changed. That's why if you say you are a child of God, there should be a difference in your life. People should see that your life has changed. People should see Jesus in you. It's not it's not something that is hidden. Like the Bible says, by their fruit you shall know them. My fruit was reflective of my salvation story. My life changed. And I'll read my book, I'll study my books, and I'll pray before I go for exams. I'll ask God to help me. And God was actually helping me. God was helping in my studies. I started getting better. I wrote exams and I was succeeding in my exams. I'm coming. I'll come soon, okay? Thank you. Sorry, I'm going to round up very soon because some people have come to the house. My son came to call me. And so my studies got better. I started to succeed in my exams. I wrote my international baccalaureate, a class before the final class, before here in Canada it would be like 12th grade. I passed all my exams in like my 11th grade. I passed all my exams. And I have my international baccalaureate, and then my parents are missionaries, but they were called back to Africa, to Nigeria, and then they moved from states to states in Nigeria as overseers, state overseers, before my dad went again to Sudan mission, which is his last mission before he died. So that was how God helped me, and from then I started to pray about marriage, and God began to speak to me about marriage at that very young age. God was showing me things. I started to have this deep impression. God was leading me whenever something was going to happen. I'll have this deep impression. I'll have a dream or a passage of the Bible that will warn me and say that don't go this way, don't go that way. And that's how God started to speak to me in my own little way. If I meet someone that that I was something off about the person, God had a way of laying it upon my heart and letting my spirit to just reject that person. I would say, I don't know what is it about this person. I can't put my finger on it, but I know something is off about this person. And eventually, you'll find that maybe that person maybe is maybe into witchcraft, or the person, their life is not right. They say they're Christian, but they're not really Christians. Things will start to come out. I might not be able to put my finger on it, but I will know. I just knew how God was leading me. God was laying things upon my heart. God was impressing me. God was leading me in His own way. And that was how my journey with Christ began. So this has nothing to, I had a lot of messages in the church. That's why God meets us in different ways and at different stages of our life. And God knows how to take every situation that happens to us and set up a relationship with God, with us, if we are really ready to open up and really ready to accept Jesus in our heart. Because the Bible said Jesus knocks at the door of our heart, and He wants to see if you open the door of your heart for Him. And if you open the door of your heart to Him, then He will come into your heart, and then He said He will sup with you and you with Him. And that's how the Christian relationship starts. That's how my own that's like a snippet of my salvation story. And today, here I am. I finished my school. After that, my dad wanted me to have a Nigerian education because I didn't grow up in Nigeria. So he wanted me to have a Nigerian education, to have a Nigerian feel, to know what Nigeria was all about. And I thank God he did that, because maybe I wouldn't have married the husband that I married, even though I met him in Germany. He's of Nigerian descent, right? So I went to Nigeria, did my first degree. After that, God was leading us, and I ended up in France, stayed in France for a couple of years, met my husband, and then we got married, and here we are in Canada. That was how God had His own way of leading me in the choice of course, the course that I studied. It was not my ideal course, but God let me know that He wants me there. I couldn't understand why I had to study foreign languages, but that's what I studied in the university. I already spoke French, and so I didn't see any reason why I needed to study foreign languages. I wanted to be a lawyer, and maybe international law or international relations, but that's not what God wanted me to do, because God had other plans for me. God has a way of leading His children in the way that He wants you to go. If you know how God is leading you, you will let yourself to be led by Him. You will be flexible in the hands of God, and God will lead you how He wants you to go. Just like God led me in the area of this course that He wanted me to study, God also led me in marriage. Lots of people I would have gotten married to, but God had a way of telling me, no, that's not the person for you. No, that's not what I want for you. No, that's not the way to go. No, that's not it. God always showed me a particular dream. I'll see myself with, the like a veil over the person, and that was how God was letting me know that no, this is not the person. Whenever I feel, oh, maybe this is the person I need to get married to. When someone proposed to me, for example, when I was doing my National Youth Service Corps in Nigeria, I did my National Youth Service Corps, and during that time, a brother was sent to me from the marriage committee, and then I went to pray about it, and God let me know that was not the person. I had a dream again, and I always have that dream whenever someone proposes to me, and the face of that person was like veiled, and I knew that was God's way of telling me that the person that is coming to me is not. That person that He has for me has not been discovered yet. Like I've not seen that person yet, and definitely exactly how it was. The man I married today, my own husband today, I had never met him until I got to Europe. Never met him. And God is God of humor. My dad never thought of sending me to University of Lagos. We tried University of Ife, they were on strike, I couldn't go. We tried Ahmadu Bello University, they were on strike, I couldn't go. And then someone talked to my dad about Ogun State at the time, and that's how I went to Ogun State. And my husband went to University of Lagos at the time before he went to Germany. Maybe if we had met there, something might have happened that will make us have thwarted maybe God's will, and God knew. And that many years later said, I don't know why I never thought of University of Lagos for you. Because I had an international baccalaureate. Every university I applied to was giving me admission. I had a very good result. And I went directly to part 2, direct entry. So definitely if I'd applied to University of Lagos, I would have gotten the admission. But God did not want me to go there. For whatever reasons, I don't know. My husband was at that time a final year student or so, I think. When I was going to university, I think he was a final year student. We would have met briefly, but God didn't want us to meet at that time. That's why I tell people, sometimes the person you get married, it's not the will of God for you per se. But maybe you are not supposed to marry when you marry. Don't force the hands of God. Let God do His thing in His own time, in His own way. And I thank God that I allowed God to do what He did with me in His own way. Some of the journeys were not smooth. Some of them were not straightforward. Some of them were not fun. Some of them were like, oh my God, why am I here? Why do I have to pass through this way, Lord? Why does it have to be like this? Many times I ask God questions. But I thank God because with God, I have this body relationship with God. I have this openness with God. I tell Him everything I think. I unburden my heart to Him, and I listen to what He has for me to, what He wants me to do. Sometimes it's hard pill to swallow, but God has been giving me the grace to swallow those pills. And so far, so good. I don't say I've arrived. I don't say I'm perfect. I don't say that I've attained the highest of height that God has for me. That's not what I'm telling you, brethren. I'm telling you that so far, just like Abraham's servant, I being in the way, the Lord has led me so far. And I'm still in the way. And God is still leading me in the life of my children, leading me in the choices of investment to make, leading me in what to do, leading me in where to go, leading me in what to say. God is not done with me yet. I want to be like very flexible in the hands of God. I want God to lead me, to open my eyes to more things. I want more leading. This group, this page, everything about this thing that I'm doing here, it's God laid it upon my heart. Naturally, before now, I used to be a very private person. I don't tell you nothing about what I'm doing. I don't want anybody to know anything about me. I like to be that on the G, doing my thing under, making my progress, making my own thing. I'm a very private person. But look at me today. I'm coming on lives. I'm talking and I'm sharing my story with you guys. I'm doing this sharing because I believe someone is going to benefit from this. Someone's life is going to change from this. Somebody will understand that even though I'm a pastor's kid, I'm a PK kid, I have my own challenges. I had to build and create my own relationship with God. The fact that your pastor's child doesn't give you automatic relationship with God, because God does not have grandchildren. God only has children. You can't say, I have a relationship with God on the basis of the relationship of my father with God. No, it's personal. You build your relationship with God, and your father can be the biggest of pastors, but he's not going to live for you with you forever. My dad now today of blessed memory, he's gone to be with the Lord. And I tell my siblings, and we talk about it sometimes. We say, look now, we have to fight our own battles ourselves. Before you say, oh, daddy will pray for me. I'll tell daddy about it, he'll pray for me. Daddy is gone now. Now we pray for ourselves. We pray for ourselves. We talk to our mom, but we pray for ourselves. But if you don't have a relationship with God, then you'll be waiting for daddy. Daddy is gone. Who prays for you now? That's why you need to build your own relationship with God. Because God wants to use you. God wants to hold your hands. God wants to take you to places that you never imagined or envisioned you to get to. Now, many times I ask my dad, why will you abandon your job as a lecturer in the university to do full time? And God will say, and dad will say, don't worry, my children. I did it for God. God will take you guys' life and he will build your life the way he built houses for those Egyptian women who kept those Israelis children, those children of Israel from Pharaoh at the time. And I'll look at him and I'll shake my head like, Daddy, for real? For real? What is good? What is deeper life? Deeper life. What is deeper life going to give you? You abandoned your work. You did this. You did that. I used to ask him questions. I used to ask my dad a lot of questions. But thank God for him. He was a very open dad. He will tell you his heart. He will tell you how you should trust God. He will share the story of other Christians of old, Smith Wigglesworth, and all of those old pastors and Christians, and great what do you call them? Patriarchs. All those people, he will share with us, and he made us to read those books and to learn those things and to build our own faith. To read about Smith Wigglesworth and build our own faith. Read about Martin Luther and build your own faith. And here we are today. God has helped us this far. God is not done with us. He's not done with my siblings yet. He's not done with me yet. He's not done with my husband yet. He's not done with my family yet. Because God is taking me to higher places. And I'll be happy to share with you some of my struggles and to guide you in the best way that I can. Explain to you, be a coach to anybody that I can, as time permits me, because I have a family, I'm building my own home, I have businesses that I'm running. So I'm a very busy person. But as God will help me, I'll try my best to coach as many as I can, to mentor as many as I can, from my own experience, from my own story, not hiding anymore. Pastor students were very discreet, we are very hidden. We don't tell you our things, we don't tell you our struggles, we don't tell you our own challenges. But I'm an adult now, and I'm happy to share the good part of being a pastor kid and some of the challenging parts that came with being a pastor's kid and what you can learn from it. And as a human being, as a normal person, a Nigerian living, of Nigerian descent living here in Canada today, thank God for all that he has done with our lives. So it's not about, back to the story of marriage committee. Yes, the marriage committee was there. As I told you, if you are just joining, listen to the video from the beginning, the replay, you'll hear my own story of how it went to the marriage committee, with my gown, with my dress, with my shoe. Well, I don't have any ought against those people. I don't even know them. Coincidentally, one of my friends said, oh, my mom was one of the marriage committees that handled your marriage. I was like, what? Your mom? Is she one of those that maybe cut my dress 3 times? She was like laughing, She was just laughing. So, I know some of you have very, very, very hurtful things. My advice for you, if you have left the church because of the marriage committee, because of the leadership of the church, and maybe you are keeping grudges with the church, heaven is more important than anything. Heaven is more important. And Jesus has apologized on behalf of the marriage committee and the church. So please take that apology and don't keep anything in your heart. Heaven is more important than marriage committee, than marriage, wedding day. And your marriage is more important than your wedding day. We fight for marriage, wedding day, I want my wedding day to look this way. I want it to be this glamorous. I want it to be this, that. Just one day. After that, the real marriage, the real deal starts. People have very lovely marriage with the dress of their dream. and the cake of their dream, and the suit of their day, of their dream, and the hall of their dream, and the wedding of their dream. But they don't have the marriage of their dreams. Their marriage is broken. The beautiful marriage is gone. They don't even like to look at their wedding pictures anymore because they don't want to remember that day. So, my friends, I'd rather that my marriage be simple and my marriage, that my wedding be simple and my marriage be sweet, heaven on earth. And I tell people, I stand here and I tell people boldly, it's not all marriages that are bad. It's not all marriages that are suffering. I'm enjoying my marriage. My marriage is beautiful. It's sweet. I'm enjoying my marriage. I am enjoying my marriage. I play with my husband. I joke with him. We talk freely. I'm not in any sort of bondage in any form, shape or manner. I'm not in any form of bondage. So there are good marriages. There are good marriages. They still exist. There are good, beautiful, lovely home out there. So yes, there are bad stories. Your marriage might have started on a wrong foot, but by the grace of God, you can have a beautiful home. And for those who are struggling with broken marriages, I pray for you today that God of heaven will heal your marriage, will heal your home, and will help you to also enjoy a beautiful and a Christian happy marriage. For those who are not married, I pray for you that you will not miss the right partner for you in Jesus' name. That you will not miss the bone of your bone and the flesh of your bone, of your flesh. I pray for you today that you will not make a mistake in your marriage. That you will not marry the wrong person. That whenever, any minute, any second, that you're going to marry wrong, that God will help you. Something will happen to make you to escape that wrong marriage in Jesus' name. God will give you wisdom. God will give you discernment. God will lead you. God will hold your hands. And God will help you to marry the person that He had for you, so that your sojourn on this earth, you will do everything that God wanted you to do and not miss any part. And when you get to heaven, you will not get to a point where God will say, you would have done this, that, and that if you had married this and that person. God bless you, my friends. It's past 7 or past 8 actually. Oh my God, I've been here for this long. But I hope you've had a nice time. I hope you've enjoyed my little chat today. And I hope that someone has been blessed by this conversation that we have had today. I think that's all I have for today. I have poured my heart to you. And I hope that somebody somewhere has gotten something that they will carry on for this week and in their marriage journey. Okay? So anything that you have to say, please do say it in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's called DLBC Singles on YouTube, and on Facebook the page is DLBC Singles. And we have a group as well called DLBC Singles on Facebook. So we're on the group, the page, the Instagram, the YouTube. Also on what do they call X, which is a bit Twitter, right? We're also there too. But I'm not really active there. Let's see. Let me try and be more active there. Have a great week. Tomorrow is public holidays, Labor Day for us. And I hope to have a nice day with my family. We're back to school. My kids have gone back to school. Kids are going back. Other kids are going back to school this week. So it's getting busy for me. I'll try my best to come up a little more often. God bless you. It's how they do heart now, right? I love you and see you in another video. See you next time. Thank you all for staying here and bye. For all our French speakers, je suis vraiment désolée. Je vais essayer de faire plus de vidéos en français pour vous. Par la grâce de Dieu. Peut-être que je vais créer une nouvelle chaîne YouTube pour vous, pour que nous puissions parler en français seulement. Mais pour le moment, essayez de comprendre en anglais. Je suis vraiment désolée. I'm so sorry for our French speakers. I know they're asking and itching for a French channel where we're going to speak more French. God will help me It's even hard to manage one channel, but I'll see. I'll try my best. Maybe lives is going to be the only way because editing is so hard. It's so hard to edit. God will help us. God bless you. God bless you. Oh, God bless you. I've been following and contributing on the Facebook group, but never knew you. Oh, yeah, I'm that very hidden admin. I like to hide in the shadows, actually. I like to hide in the shadows, but God has been helping us. I'll try to be much more active on the group and the page. I try to write some posts, but you know, um, I'll find time to be more. I have a full time job. I have a business or two businesses, like a non for profit and a for profit business, and then I have my kids, my home. So very busy. I'm very busy. You live here in this part of the world, right? You said you live in New York, so you know how it's busy, right? You know how we run, we work. My life is so busy. So it's so difficult to manage the group. Sometimes the group, there are so many posts, and people post so many funny things like, oh, good morning, everyone. Oh, this, oh, that. Some of them, you're just sorting those posts, and you're like, which one is real? Which of these posts is even relevant to us? So it makes it so difficult to approve those posts while you're approving hundreds and hundreds of posts. You don't even have time to make live videos like this. But my brother is kind of encouraging me. He said, people want to hear you talk. Please come and talk more. And sometimes I think I'm shy. I think I write better. I know I write better. So most times my thoughts are easier expressed in my written text. And I do a lot of that on my personal profile on my page. But God helping me, I'll see how I can come a little more and share a few topics with you from my experience and any questions that are being asked. And I'm trying to see how I can drag my husband more here. He's much more busier than me, but I like to drag him. He's a campus pastor, and I think those conversations that he has with the campus students and the young adults are things that I think you guys here will benefit from it. But he's too busy, and he says, "No, I don't have time for that yet," and all that. So God helping me, pray along with me. I'll be able to drag him here to handle some of the topics and some of the questions and answers. Thank you so much. Tomorrow is Monday. Thankfully, it's public holiday. Otherwise, by now, we should be running after the kids. Brush your teeth, go to bed, go to bed. But thankfully, tomorrow is public holiday, so we can relax a little bit. Maybe we'll go to bed a little later, but I don't want to do that because we have routines. We'll see how it goes though. I'm gonna check out now. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Bye. See you next time. Bye. Thank you, Agumba. Thank you for staying till the end. Meekness and many of you. Bye.